Hello, and welcome to my 6-month update video. It's a little bit late, but here it is. This video will be slightly different than usual for two reasons. First, I spent almost half the month in Vietnam, and so I'll be spending time talking about how the trip related to my language learning. Second, in the second half of the month after I came back from Vietnam, I barely studied. I really didn't get on a consistent study schedule. And so I didn't make a whole lot of progress in the second half of the month, and I don't really have much to say about it. So, yeah, mainly I'm just going to talk about Vietnam. So anyway, let's get started. So after exactly 5 months and 3 days of studying, I got on an airplane to Vietnam. That was also the day I stopped doing my flashcard reviews, which I have only just caught back up on a few days ago. I could say that I didn't do them because we were busy, which we were, but the real reason is that I just didn't make them a priority. I wanted to take a break from work and everything else and just focus on enjoying the trip. I don't regret not doing them, but I do have to accept the fact that it slowed down my progress by several weeks. Catching up on backlogged flashcards is not fun, and it's probably part of the reason why I tended to avoid studying for the rest of the month. So, whatever. So yeah, from the time that we landed in Vietnam, I was bombarded with Vietnamese. Between my wife, my wife's mother, relatives, friends, cab drivers, store clerks, waiters, and so on, I was almost constantly listening to a Vietnamese conversation. Of course, all the street signs, menus, etc. were all also in Vietnamese, so there was visual immersion as well. Using my best guesses, just estimating like I spent this many hours with my wife's mother, with relatives, whatever, I estimated that I got about 47 hours of immersion during the 13-day trip, or about 3.6 hours a day. I mean, during that time, sometimes I had a good idea of what was being said, and sometimes I had absolutely no idea, and tending toward having absolutely no idea. It depended on the speaker, as well as what they were talking about. To be honest, I would say that like my comprehension was about the same as the videos that I had been watching up until that point, like right before the trip. They were actually, it was really similar. How much I how much I understood in a video versus how much I understood in real life. I'm fairly confident that my comprehension improved during the trip. Of course, it's hard to measure, but yeah, I think it improved. I also learned a few new words, like "tea." They said that a lot to mean like, I don't know, like, is that so? Or like, oh yeah. Anyway, I also want to mention that while we were on this trip, I did allow myself to freely ask my wife whatever I wanted. She would translate things for me, explain concepts, tell me how to say certain things. But yeah, so as I said before, I want this learning process to be completely repeatable by others. And most people aren't married to a Vietnamese person. And so, for this whole process, I have disallowed myself from using her as a walking dictionary or, as a conversation partner. But yeah, during the trip, just relaxed, didn't worry about that. Since we got back from the trip, I reinstated those restrictions, and they'll stay that way until I either become fluent or until we go back to Vietnam. So yeah. Regarding speaking on the trip, there were 3 things that I said with regularity. I said thank you, so like come on out. I said like greetings and goodbyes, so like ciao ciao baka or ciao ciao koa. And the last thing was like invitations to eat, which I always got wrong, but whatever. So like con mời mẹ. Yeah. Otherwise, I probably said less than 10 sentences, maybe 3 of which were understood. At the moment, it's really difficult for me to remember which tones go with which words, and I'm sure my vowels are not really great either. And my speech also tends to be jerky as I try to think about, how I'm supposed to say certain words. Up to this point, I have not practiced pronunciation at all. Besides, I would say words in these videos, but otherwise I have not practiced pronunciation at all. But I think I'm going to work on it this month. But the reason might not be what you expect. So while we were in Vietnam, I stocked up on books to read. It's quite difficult and expensive to get Vietnamese books outside of Vietnam, and since I knew I wasn't going to return anytime soon, I went ahead and bought a bunch. They range from 20-page books for small children, to manga to 200-page novels. And I plan to use these books to take my Vietnamese from decent to advanced or even fluent. I have some sitting here, so I mean, like I said, I bought like children's books. It has like English and Vietnamese, but you can see it's quite simple. I have like this like Disney Wall-E book. It's a little bit more involved. I have manga, Dragon Ball, Vietnam's favorite Doraemon. I have some Vietnamese, like original Vietnamese manga. Like I said, I have up to like this obviously isn't. I mean, I guess it's a novel. I don't know, a short novel. Read this guy, The Little Prince. Yeah, all the way up to. I mean, I'm looking at my books here. I have like 20 or 30 of these books. I plan on reading all of them. Harry Potter is the biggest I have. It's quite large, but yeah, I plan on reading all of these. I think it's extremely important. I consider it extremely important for my learning. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so I have all these books, right? And so when you read a book, generally you as you read, you kind of sub-vocalize what you're reading. So you're like, this is a cat. You kind of say that in your head. Obviously you say this is a cat every time. Anyway, you as you read a book, you kind of like say the line out in your head. There's like a little voice that reads it. And so that little voice, if I don't want to like ingrain a bad accent, I need to train the little voice. I need to train my pronunciation, even if I don't actually plan to speak out loud. In addition, there's two more reasons why I'm working on my pronunciation. For one, I suspect it may improve my listening comprehension. I think comprehension improves pronunciation, but I also think that pronunciation can improve comprehension. And the last reason is I'm just excited to learn pronunciation. I think learning should be fun. I'm excited to learn it. So yeah. So as he says, like he's going to have fun learning pronunciation. My plan is to do a lot of pronunciation drills. Personally, I think they're going to be fun. But anyway, I will basically shadow single words until I am comfortable with all the tones, all the vowels, and all the consonants. I don't know how long that'll take. Hopefully not more than a month or two. Don't know. After that, I will start shadowing sentences to work on intonation and pacing. To help me with this, I'm going to be using this microphone. It has like a little a headphone jack in the back that allows me to hear myself like instantly. There's no delay, and so I think I can hear myself better, like hear how I'm pronouncing things. So yeah, I'm going to use this guy to help me out as I practice. The last thing, or the next thing, other thing that I plan to do this coming month is a lot more subs to SRS cards. I think they can teach me a lot. I enjoy doing them. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but just like all my other flashcards, they are audio on the front and text on the back. So before I wrap up this video, there are two cool experiences that I had in Vietnam that I just wanted to mention. The first was during our cruise in Ha Long Bay. The crew of the ship we were on ended up taking an interest in my wife and I because she spoke Vietnamese and because I was learning Vietnamese. The crew was super nice to us and would speak to my wife in Vietnamese, though there was one guy in particular that would go out of his way to speak directly to me in Vietnamese. It was kind of funny. And so, I got the feeling that the people really appreciated others taking an interest in their language and their culture. And the second cool experience that I had was I got to go to Hoa Ban Food's store in Hanoi. You may remember that Hoa Ban Food has been one of my favorite YouTube channels since I first started learning. I didn't get to talk to the guy himself, but I bought some of his spices and I left a big bag of snacks that I had brought with me from Japan. And actually a few days later, while we were still in Vietnam, he posted a video of him like going through all the snacks that I brought him. So that was pretty cool. So that's it. That's it for month 6. I'll be getting on track with my studies in month 7. I'm going to work on pronunciation, subs to SRS, flashcards. I'll be watching a lot of videos. Yeah, gotta get back on track. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys in a month, maybe less than a month, since I put this video up so late. But yeah, that's it for now.